Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another in Cisco Tech Insiders podcast. As always, this is your host, Sean Roberts, and today we have, again, another exciting podcast for you, our listeners. We are bringing in some of our TAC engineers. The TAC is the Technical Assistance Center. It is the world-class support organization, award-winning, that Cisco has. So what we've done for you guys today is we've brought in four engineers, and we're going to talk to them about their experiences in TAC, what it means to be a TAC, a support engineer in Cisco, and just some really interesting things that they've been doing over the past, couple of months, couple of years or so. So, as always, you guys want to hear me talk, want to hear the engineers talk. So let's get into it, and let's have an introduction for our engineers. So, Nathan, if you'd please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Nathan. I'm currently a team lead in the server virtualization and Hyperflex team, Hyperflex storage. I've been at Cisco for about 6.5 years at this point. I actually started as an intern and then kind of rose into TAC and then kept going from there.
Thank you very much. Yusek.
So my name is Yusuke. So I joined Cisco in April of 2022. So I'm fairly new to Cisco. So at the time of this recording, I have just passed the 6-month period. I am in TAC's content security team where I support Cisco's email security product, web security product, and endpoint security product. And before joining Cisco, I worked for a different tech company for several years right out of college. And my last role at the company was a solution architect role where I was responsible for doing several projects like migrating customer system from on-premise to the cloud. So ever since I joined Cisco, I had so much things to learn, and there has been so many challenges on the way. But at the same time, it has been very motivational and exciting as well. So hopefully I can share my experience in Cisco Tech from a fresh perspective.
Well, great to have you. Exciting. Ashish?
Thank you, Sean. So my name is Ashish Verghese. I am currently the TAC lead and escalation engineer for Cloud Web Security team in the APAC region. I have been a part of the network security industry for over 10 years, 3.5 years with Cisco. So over the course of 10 years, I've gained expertise in multiple technologies like wireless, AAA identity, and then cloud web security solutions. Happy to be a part of this podcast and wish to share my experience.
Great, thank you. Roshni?
Thank you, Sean. My name is Roshni, and I work as a consulting engineer with Cisco IoT TAC. I joined Cisco fresh out of university, and now I'm about 2.5 years old in Cisco. So I work with customers on several IoT products that we support. And being a part of the TAC family has been brilliant for me in so many ways. And I'm super glad to be here today, Sean. Thank you.
All right. Well, as I said, we have a very diverse group from lots of different region areas and lots of different technologies. So let's dive into this. So first, I really, let's give our listeners an idea about what you guys do on the regular basis. So Ashish, if you would kind of tell us what your day is like.
Sure, yes. So an ordinary day would mean accepting escalations from the teammates and working on different cases, provide inputs to teammates, managing customers' expectation. Sometimes the day gets busy or the day is very demanding, and on those days we might be required to uh, conduct interviews to hire more talent. Uh, we may be required to conduct training for the new hires and mentor new folks in the team. Again, so depending upon the severity of the cases, impact to the customer, we have to be available all the time when the team is live and in production. So just to give you an example, a delay on our side could mean potential loss of revenue and reputation to the customer and eventually to Cisco. So that's the kind of attention availability that we need to show to our team. And many times issues and challenges we are required to conduct recreates, help team with recreates, helping them ramp up technically, and all this keeps us busy all throughout the day.
It's interesting. Roshni, what's your regular day or what's your, day-to-day operations look like?
Yes, Sean. So TAC, as we all know, is a reactive service, which means whenever there is an issue occurring on the customer setup, we jump in and fix it. And that's why my favorite part, I love calling TAC engineers as the device doctors. So, from an engineer's perspective, right, my typical day usually is quite busy. I start off by reviewing my, backlog or my existing cases, in other words. So, I go case by case, analyze the logs where necessary. I check for updates from customers, also keep them updated on the current work that I'm doing on their issue, and also jump on customer calls wherever necessary. Not just that, but we also do have regular team sync ups where we discuss and highlight issues that have been pending for a long time. We ask for help wherever necessary, and we also discuss customer sentiments and how we can improve upon certain aspects. And we all know that we pick cases on a daily basis, right? So every customer setup we work on is different, and sometimes every issue we investigate is also quite different. So it becomes very important for us to do a research and a homework, read a lot every single time. So we refer to documentations, release notes, older cases with similar issues, tech zones, and the list goes on and on. So by the end of this whole complete process of us referring to all of these documentations, we would have had about five or six different ways of troubleshooting a single issue. And while it may look quite difficult, while it may look like a difficult job, it really is not. All that reading and exploring is a fantastic way to learn and increase a knowledge base. So, personally, I would say that TAC really offers an exponential learning curve because learning is a constant here.
It's very interesting. You started to get into some of the aspects, right, of being, a TAC engineer, just on top of your daily routine. Nathan, you mentioned you were kind of a more of a senior person on your team. So can you tell me, what do you expect out of a good TAC engineer? What makes that picture perfect support engineer for Cisco?
Kind of like what Rashini said, really a lot of it is your ability to learn and I guess take in new information and apply that to the kind of particular scenario a customer gives you. Because while a lot of scenarios can be similar across different issues, overall a lot of them are individual and different per environment, more than ever nowadays. So for my part, in terms of kind of even part of my day-to-day activities, a lot of what I do as a team lead is working with newer engineers, more junior engineers, and working through with them in terms of some of their more complex cases. And a lot of the time, breaking down the issue into smaller and smaller parts is the key to actually cracking that bit that we're missing, or something that's where the actual real issue is. So from my perspective, a lot of the times when an engineer comes to me and asks for help, the honestly, it's almost more important as to how they phrase the question and what kind of background and context they give, as to rather than the actual question they ask themselves. So it's just really, I guess, crucial from a tax side, in my opinion, to be able to take the work you've done, take the information that's been given from this customer environment, and kind of synthesize that together to start understanding the situation, where the real issue may be, and then being able to communicate that properly to both me when you're asking for help, as well as the customer when you're trying to inform them, what the situation really is.
Hey, you talk to the customer, which is definitely the core foundational piece of all that CX does in TAC. So, Yusuke, what are your thoughts on what's needed to be a good TAC engineer? What can you add to Nathan's points?
I would say that, aside from technical skills, it is essential that you're good at working with a team and collaborating effectively with other team members. And after joining Cisco Tech, and as I started taking cases, I soon realized that in Tech, this skill set is equally important as your technical skills. And coming from a different company and different job role, so before joining Cisco Tech, I had an impression that the job of Tech engineer was more of an independent role rather than working with a team. It seemed to me that when you take a case, you own the case and you have to somehow resolve the case by yourself. And even though all the tech engineers are all extremely technical and we all possess high technical skills, we cannot resolve everything by ourselves. We need to work closely with our team members and gather each other's expertise to tackle our customers' complicated problems. In some cases, we collaborate with other business units across different regions to solve a certain issue. In tech, people put helping others as their top priority, and I think people are very supportive here in general. Ever since I joined Cisco Tech, I've never once come across people saying, "Oh, I'm too busy, I cannot help," whenever I ask for help. That kind of mentality doesn't exist here. We always keep each other's knowledge up to date by doing sync up meetings, knowledge shares, and case reviews. We have so much to learn from each other. In tech, your team member will always have your back, and we lean on each other, and this builds a psychological safety in the workplace and is essential for a good team and for individuals to always challenge and to grow.
Thank you. That's really good perspective. It sounds like, a lot of passionate, good, solid work is going on. And, all the things you guys mentioned, it sounds like there's a lot to do, a lot to go on. I mean, you're dealing with customers that could be losing millions of dollars as you're reading through logs, right? So Roshni, what kind of stress comes from working as a TAC engineer?
I mean, yes, it does get overwhelming at times, especially during my initial days when I joined Cisco fresh out of college. Although I was technically prepared, I had my trainings and all of those things. I had a lot of what ifs in my mind, What if I get stuck while troubleshooting? Or what if it's an issue I have not much idea about? Or what if the customer is not happy? Or what if I have very little time to fix the issue? But let me tell you something. It did not take me very long enough to realize that everyone's got each other's back in TAC. It's like one big family. That's the way I see it. The team is always there to support you and the customer as well. But I remember this one time I independently jumped on a Severity 1 or a P1 call. I was very nervous, but at the same time, I sort of knew what to do. So it was a server down kind of a situation. And I was able to fix it myself. And I cannot describe how wonderful that felt. The customer was so relieved and happy. And the fact that I could make that happen for them, that was a brilliant feeling. I felt like an absolute superhero. So the stress handling, although it's part of this job, it's like an instant reward. When you fix the customer issue, it's a satisfaction for them and for you as well. So that itself is like a stress buster to me.
That's a very interesting way to put it. I like that a lot. So I wanted to bounce back over to you, Nathan. We just kind of are rolling out of a global pandemic, right? And TAC has always been, in my experience, has always been, we call it a big job. It's a place where you have to be in the office and stuff like that. Can you kind of detail into what kind of happened with TAC and the effects of the pandemic on Cisco TAC?
Yeah, so a lot of it was now it's all work from home was the major change throughout the world really, and from my side especially when when the pandemic hit, we still had some newer engineers in the team that we were still ramping up and building up their skills. And personally, I'm more of an old-fashioned kind of guy. I like to sit in a room with a whiteboard and just go through with them. This is the scenario. Here's how we learn. Here's how we troubleshoot things. Here's how we, at least for particular issues as well. Here's what I've learned from it. Here's what you can take from it. So transitioning that into online, while it sounds pretty one-to-one, like we jump into a video call and I still share my screen and do a very similar thing, I found that teaching and being able to upskill engineers over while everyone's at home over the web is a lot. It's a different process, that's for sure, is the way I'll phrase it. So one of the biggest impacts from me, kind of pandemic wise, is my ability to actually start to share knowledge effectively. So honestly, that's led me to going down the path of writing a lot more documentation, a lot more guides, updating a lot more release notes, defect wise. Because without the ability to kind of sit there and talk to people one on one to start share the knowledge and bring them up to speed, I've turned more to actually guides and documentation as the best place to go to do so.
Did you feel that junior engineers had a harder time finding their voice being remote, or was that not an issue?
It's 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 so much easier to be able to bring people out of their shell when you have the body language around it as well. So even just as a taking team meetings as an example, people would like we could sit there even with our cameras on, and it's a lot easier for people to just kind of be quiet and I guess, take it in rather than express their concerns or feelings. So when in the office, it's really easy to just, talk to your other engineer in a team and you go, hey, what do you think about this? Kind of lift them up with that. So in terms of finding their voice, like they did do it. Like I know, especially when it came to customer calls, even if some of the senior engineers needed to jump on some of the initial WebExes with them, just to give them that bit of confidence to speak up and work with the customer more effectively. They definitely did get there and they did do it. I feel like it did take that bit more time though compared to normal.
Sure. So I'd like to go on and kind of talk about some what we call block and tackle stuff. So Ashish, if you could kind of talk us through just the life cycle of a case, how it kind of gets going and what is that Sev 1, that P1, P2 we keep hearing about?
Customers, when they purchase Cisco devices, they also have contracts to open tickets with us for configuration assistance, troubleshooting assistance, any break fix type of issues. So they reach out to the TAC frontline, report an issue, and that ticket is routed to the technology of the device they are having issue with. We've also done an innovation there. Now the customer need not call in the TAC frontline. They just need to engage the TAC bot to to post their queries, open tickets, check the severities. So again, um, depending upon the kind of issue and the impact it has on the customer organization, there are different severity levels. So severity levels define how soon you need assistance and how big is the impact. So that's when severity 1, 2, 3 comes into picture. So severity 1 would mean catastrophic outage causing loss of revenue or reputation. Um, Severity 2 would mean severely degraded service. And however, there is a workaround, or at least the traffic or the production or the network is functional. It's not completely down. Cisco has different SLAs. For example, a P3 or Sev3 is accepted in 60 minutes. And for all severity cases, the TAC frontline, they warm hand off the customer to the TAC engineer. They introduce each other, and then um, TAC owner or the SR owner becomes the CEO or driver or director of that case. He owns complete responsibility of he or she owns complete responsibility of driving that case to closure. So it could mean that the person would review the configuration, assess the problem, try to find out the history, and uh, if that is not resolvable within the same technology, the engineer can collaborate with different technologies. Or if the problem is too complex, they can collaborate with their escalation team or application engineering team. So eventually, the goal is to help uh, the customer resolve the issue. Also, close the loop and keep communicating with all the stakeholders, be it internal, external, so on.
Well, thanks. It's a really good deep dive in for our customers to kind of know the end to end life cycle. I think that's important to know what they're doing when they call into TAC. I wanted to bounce back to the previous question because you said you are new, right? So you got hired kind of during the end of the pandemic or part of the pandemic. Can you kind of give us your perspective as a new hire on how the pandemic affected you coming into Cisco TAC?
So I joined Cisco, as I said, in Cisco Tech in April of 2022. And this is after Cisco announced the hybrid working policy where employee can choose how and where they work from. So from day one, I was working fully remote. And now that most of the new hires go through everything from onboarding programs to all the trainings remotely, these programs and trainings are all now designed to work for remote workers. And for the first 3 months, I went through on-the-job training with my mentor, virtually using WebEx, where I learned all the procedure and process to handle the cases from opening to closing. And there I had gained understanding of the role of the TAC engineer. And by handling actual cases, I learned how to use the tools for case management, how to look up knowledge database, how to escalate the case when needed, how to do the lab environment, and how to track the case and update the customer along with learning about the product. So there's so much to learn during the first 3 months, and there's a steep learning curve for everybody. But once we pass that period, we all realize that we have attained so much knowledge and skills. And we all do this virtually using WebEx. And I received tremendous support from my mentor, manager, and team members through WebEx. So whenever I needed help, I had a call with them and ask questions whether it was technical or non-technical. So now that we interact with other engineers via WebEx, the way to communicate is becoming increasingly important, whether on a call or chat. And we are all usually very busy, so asking questions concisely and clearly is necessary to get the correct information in short amount of time, which will save time for all of us.
Great. That's really interesting to see on, on that aspect, right? We kind of had the team lead looking at it from a how do I train people to remote? Now you got people coming in. Okay, great. Now how do I learn, right? And one of the things that I think TAC really works on, in Cisco is the ability to scale, right? The ability to do more with less, right? We want to have more customers. We want to we want engineers to be able to crunch away at some of the deeper things and not have to do some of the surface level stuff as much. And one of the ways that Cisco TAC has really done this in spades is through innovation. So I want to come to Nathan. And Nathan, tell me a little about the innovation that you've seen in TAC and kind of what it's led to for our customers.
Yeah, so I guess over the years of me being here, just the huge focus from an innovation perspective is how do I make tax life easier? How do I make my customers' life easier? I feel like that is always the driving force whenever any kind of product or initiative is being made. So from my side, as I work with primarily UCS and Hyperflex, Cisco Intersight has been a major game changer in terms of making my life easier and making customers' lives easier, in the sense that customers who can connect their environment up to Intersight as it's kind of like a cloud-based service. For me, the main benefit I pull from this, as most other TAC engineers will as well, is that we can actually just remotely pull logs from the customer's environment without needing to go through the process of generating them and the customer's uploading them, which, some of these logs can be a couple gigs in size as well. It's not a quick process. So in terms of being able to just, I guess, focus our communication to the customer of, let me know more about this issue. Let's fix these parts that we can here. And if I need logs, don't worry about it. I'll do that in the background and get back to you. It's just been a massive improvement quality of life wise. So I'll say as a push here, if anyone listening does have their UCS or Hyperflex environment and they do need a hand in the future, connecting to Intersight would definitely make both our lives a lot easier when doing it.
That's a good call out. Thanks. Yeah, we hear a lot about Intersight and some other products are going on, into the cloud products that can help our customers connect back in Cisco. And again, like you said, make things a lot easier, make log collection, diagnostics, all that a lot easier. So we're kind of coming towards the end of our little discussion here, and I wanted to kind of round table it and give each one of y'all a chance to final closing thoughts on what it means to be a TAC engineer. So, Roshni?
Thanks, Sean. I think there's so much room for innovation in TAC, and it's not just about break fixing or just fixing issues. There's so much room for so many other things, and it not only helps us grow personally, but also there's so much of professional development here as well. So maybe don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Is something that I regularly tell myself, and it's helped me a lot.
Thank you. You Skik?
Your passion and ambition is most important part of working in tech, because I am not from a network engineering background, so I had to learn so many things after joining Cisco. Like I got my CCNA a few months ago, and I learned so much stuff ever since I joined Cisco Tech. And I think what matters the most is, as I said, ambition and more than your experience. So there's so much to learn, and I really enjoy learning new things, and it really motivates me to be a part of being a tech engineer.
Great. Thank you. Ashish?
Thanks. A day in the life of a tech engineer. I would wrap it by saying that there are a lot of challenges in the world or in the product and in the communication systems, and no product is free from issues, break fix issues, defects, bugs, and it gives me great pleasure and really keeps me motivated to help our customers, assist our customers in time of need, resolve the issue, and keep them happy at the end of the day. Their organizations, companies running, so that they can, offer their products and services to their consumers. So a short or even a minute resolution from TAC side, uh, cascades as a big offering to the end clients, consumers, customers. So that's how I think we see as touching the life of many people through our small work and short duration of time we spend with our customers. And at the end of the day, it's all about learning for us. We continuously keep learning, help our peers and our mentees learn, and at the end of the day, have a good time doing all this.
Thank you very much. And Nathan.
I think I'm going to echo Ashish's sentiments there in the sense that for me, the core of being a TAC engineer is doing the right thing for the customer. Even in the scenarios of us learning technologies, us improving our skills, all of it in the end is to improve our relationship with how we work with customers and how we can solve the issues. And to me, that's everything about being TAC is everything we do, helping each other, helping the customers. Everything really comes back to let's do this, let's do the right thing, let's do the best we can.
Wow. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate all four of the TAC engineers that joined us for this day in the life of a TAC engineer and to kind of peel the covers back, so to speak, and look at what it means to be a world-class support engineer at Cisco. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed hearing all about TAC, and maybe you'll have questions next time you talk to that TAC engineer and call in on a case. We look forward to talking to you always. And we look forward to more Cisco Tech Insiders podcast. We've got more things coming up, things on automation, more things on ML, lots of really cool stuff coming down the pipeline. We've been so happy after getting into our second year of work in Cisco Tech Insiders. You guys are amazing. The listener base is just growing. It's been wonderful. And we look forward to having more of these and bringing more exciting technologies out to you guys on a regular basis. Once again, this is Sean Roberts for Cisco Tech Insiders signing off. Bye-bye.